And this last one is given as an adult, where you gain prop stats. Now the prop stats are different as well. One thing to note, all pets do give different types of bonuses. Sorry, but I do not want to accept friend requests right now. This right here, as I mentioned, is the fetch aura. You can only get this by cash or by purchasing a permanent fetch aura cube from the market. Now, I've never actually gotten the cube, so I can't really say much about that. But they cost 500 ka-ching, $5. It's definitely a very worthwhile investment if you play a lot. Especially when you get into the end game, where you're definitely not going to be grabbing everything. Once more, hello all the new players. Hello all the new players as well as all the new viewers here. I'm teaching you how to Elsword. If you've never played Elsword, well, congratulations. I'll give you a bit of a basic rundown. If you want to learn more, then you're on your own / go ask the forums. But I'm giving you like a basic rundown. Pet attack, yeah. So, for the pet attacks, pets work differently compared to Grand Chase. Do all pets have a special form? Not all pets have evolution stages. We'll just say that. In this case, Rexian, or as I call him, the Derp Dragon, or Derp Durgan as I prefer to call him. I just don't know why they name him. He only came in as an adult. Other pets that you get, including the Foru, when you do the story missions as a new character. Along with these, they start off as a life crystal, and then they evolve into an infant, into a teenager, and then into an adult. Another thing to note is pets also have their own inventory as well. The amount of inventory that they have is determined whether they're a free pet, an event pet, or say a catch pet. So some pets, of course, as you can see, the Ancient Rexian has 12 extra spaces. The amount of spaces are determined based off of the pet's evolution. In the case of like an infant, they'll have a lot less. Taking that starter Foru I mentioned, for example, the starting Foru will have only one extra slot. As you can see, there's also a thing here called autofeed. When you put equipment or QPL jellies in here, you'll pretty much have the pet automatically eat it if the box is checked. If you don't want the pet to do that and you rather manually feed them, then make sure it's unchecked, or don't put any of the food items, such as low-grade equipment, high-grade equipment, Eltree fruits, and Eltree seeds. As I was saying before, they also attack, and they work differently compared to Grand Chase. Up here you see a little blue bar. This is pretty much the pet MP. When you attack and get attacked in dungeons, the pet will gain MP. When it fills up, there is a chance it can attack. However, this is also determined based off its personality, which I will get to. There's another effect it has, and that's called encouragement. When your pet, or when your health is below a specific amount, again, determined based off personality, the pet will start encouraging you. This will drop your current HP by 50%, but you gain a heal. And your HP just starts rising up over a period of time. You also gain more MP, and as you can see, your critical hit rate will increase, your attack and movement speed will also increase. I should also say that these increases are not normalized, and what that means is, for prop stats, as you can see here, there is a thing called normalization. Let me actually equip everything. Okay. As you can see, normalized adjustment. What that means is after a specific point, to make sure the stat doesn't get out of control, the game will automatically make it so the next percent increase requires a much higher value. So, as you can see, the stats are whole numbers right here. I had 2,791 attack speed. If I were to take this off, I only lose 110. So I have 2,681, which leaves me with 21.12 attack speed. Now, if I put that back on, 21.41. Now, that's not really much of a boost. And here's why. If I were to take everything off and I put this weapon back on, I get 110, and I gain nearly 1% exact. Now, the main reason is due to the fact that it's a level 68 equipment. The property stats are based off of your level, or of the level of the equipment, except accessories and costume pieces. And that's because they adjust to your level. In this case, because the item is a level 68, 110 at level 68 is considered 1%. So, for the sake of this, %20 is pretty much 2,200. Now, 20% is when the attack speed stat starts having normalization. So, let me re-equip my stuff. As you can see, I am above the number. I'll just put it like over here. 2,200, 2,373. I'm only getting a 0.3%. Now, in terms of stats, what you want to do is get 20% attack speed first. This is the most important stat right now. Once you hit 20%, well, specifically, you want 20% in... Okay, game, please. You want 20% in all your speeds. Attack speed, movement speed, and jump speed. Now, there are ways to do this, but right now you're probably not going to really get that. So, to actually get the speeds, you're going to want to use magic stones, which you just throw onto a piece of equipment. I don't want to do it on this one. I'll do it on the hair for this one. So, you throw a magic stone right there, attach it, get a random stat. In this case, I got critical. I have 1695, so that's 15%. Throw that on. Suddenly get a pretty large boost. Actually, pretty good. Guys, please don't send me your friend requests. This is going to make it hard to explain, and it interrupts the thing. And I'm noticing you, Winter Hats. I'm actually looking at you every time. My fist is actually shaking. Anger. Okay, I want to quit that. But yeah, normalization. That's pretty much... It's pretty much so a stat doesn't get out of hand. Now, stats... Each stat is actually different in terms of when the normalization begins. In the case of attack, movement, and jump speed, it's 20%. For Awakening Charge, it takes a while. I believe it's around 30%. Critical gets it pretty early, but the actual normalization doesn't start really kicking in until later on, so you can still stack up some critical. Depending on whether you're a PvPer or a PvEer, will determine on what kind of stat you're looking for. So, first things first. Max out your attack, movement, and jump speeds. By max, I mean get them to at least 20%. Now comes the part where if you PvP, you want about 20% accuracy. Depending on your character, you may have a passive that can increase your accuracy. If you are a character that doesn't have that, then you're going to need to raise this up. People recommend stacking about 20%. And that's really all you need for PvP. Awakening Charge is also useful. And for PvP is add damage and spread damage, or additional damage and damage reduction. These are pretty much important in PvP. Additional damage, I'll highlight. Pretty much, you deal an extra amount of damage. In this case, because I have a 2,261, with my current stats, I can deal an extra 164 to 2,092 damage when physically attacking. Now the number is random. The higher you stack it, the more damage that you can actually deal. Now if I were to put equipment on, as you can see, the actual numbers went higher. In this case, I can get anywhere from 900 to 11,000. In the case of damage reduction, you reduce damage by a percentage, which is also really important because you can have your defenses lowered, but not your damage reduction lowered. It can be ignored by certain characters and attacks, but that's something that you're going to have to learn to deal with. By the way, the set, you actually get this from the event Ice Burner mission. So I know someone was like asking me how I got this, so that's how I got it. As you can see, there's a timer. 1 day, 20 hours. I should make more use of it. Anything else for PvP? As I mentioned, Awakening Charge is also really useful to stack. Mainly because you're usually going to want to use 1 beat Awakenings for either a mix of delay or certain set effects. I can't show you really any set effects. Well, I could, but there aren't other characters. Maybe I should take this off. Oh, as you can see, there's dungeon and arena stats. As you can see, there are some pieces of equipment that only affects dungeons and PvP in a certain for certain things. In this case, like the items I have here, they are sparring equipment, which is used for PvP. If it says match, it's only going to work if you're in PvP. As you can see on my currently equipped item, I have an effect that gives me 10% chance of plus 20 MP when I'm attacked, but there's only a dungeon. It only works in dungeons. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you got it. What else? Oh. PvE statters. This kind of depends on character, but it's usually going to be you get your 20% speeds for attack, movement, and jump. If you're playing a Chung, a Raven, an Aura, or an Ad, you build up Awakening Charge and Awakening Time. For Chung's, you want this because he has a 3-beat Awakening effect called Berserk Mode, which gives him unlimited cannonballs. You do have a point there. I guess I'll do something. You know what? I got an idea. I'll just start PvPing! You guys can actually see how bad I am. I'll try to explain while I'm PvPing. Hopefully I can do that. Let me get all my things equipped first before I continue. Okay, that should be good enough. Close to SS, I kind of want to hit it. Yeah, I can understand that, but it's kind of easier to explain it if I show it. Like, if I show what I'm talking about. Okay, well, here you get to see a bit of a PvP match. You can kind of, like, see how I handle this.